Joan of Arc was born in 1412 Domremy, France to peasant farmers. Legend says that she was born to an auspicious sign, held to be a forecast of national triumph. However, what is more certain is that her family were poor and her region had suffered from the long conflict between England and France. Joan of Arc is a French heroine and Roman Catholic saint. Born in obscurity to a peasant family, she traveled to the uncrowned Dauphin of France, advising him to reclaim his French throne and defeat the English. Joan of Arc was sent alongside French troops to the siege of Orleans and rose to prominence after the siege was lifted after 9 days. She was later captured and burned at the stake for heresy. However, as she predicted, 7 years after her death, France was reunited with the English defeated and Charles crowned king. From an early age, Joan of Arc displayed a sensitive and religious temperament. It is said by friends that she was greatly committed to the service of God and the Blessed Mary. From the age of 13, she began to have mystical visions. In these visions, she said she felt the voice of God commanding her to renew the French nation. At her later trial, Joan of Arc said she felt these visions were as real seeing another person. The visions were often accompanied by light and the presence of saints such as Saint Michael and Saint Catherine. These visions made Joan of Arc even more religiously inclined. She would frequently go to confession and, it is said that whenever she heard the bells for Mass she would immediately drop her work and run to church. Initially, Joan did not tell others about her visions and inner commandments, but in May 1428 the divine messages urged her to seek an audience with Charles de Ponthieu, currently an ineffective and relatively weak leader of the French. Joan of Arc had led the French army to victories at Orleans, Patay and Troyes. Many other towns were also liberated from English control, and it allowed a triumphal entry into Dauphin for the coronation of King Charles VII on July 17, 1429. For her exploits and leadership, Joan of Arc and her family were granted noble status. She has also won the hearts of the French soldiers who looked up to Joan as an almost mythical leader. However, a year later Joan was captured by the Burgundian forces at Compiègne and sold to the English. Her trial is well documented and provides a revealing insight into her character and destiny. The English and members of the French clergy decided to put her on trial for witchcraft and over 60 other charges. In many ways, it was a show trial with the result cleverly orchestrated. The trial was a very testing experience for Joan. Initially, the trial was held in public, but her responses were much sharper than her prosecutors expected. However, a week later she regained her strength and recanted her confession. This meant the penalty of execution by fire would be re-implemented. Witnesses recount she faced her ordeal with dignity. It is said that over 10,000 people came to see her execution by burning. Afterwards, her ashes were scattered in the Seine. One legend tells how her heart remained unaffected by the fire. 26 years later the English were finally driven from Rouen, and in a later inquest, she was declared to be officially innocent and was officially designated to be a martyr. She was canonized a saint in 1920 and remains the patron saint of France. Joan of Arc achieved a remarkable achievement in her short life of 19 years. In particular, she embodied religious devotion with great bravery and humility. Her life helped change the course of French history.